What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Big Brother Live Chats right here on CBS Connect. I'm Jeff Schroeder from season Big Brother 11 and 13, and with me today is a very special guest, Mike Boogie, the legend, one of the big legends of Big Brother.
Thank you.
The day after is tough.
Yes, it's a mixed bag. You have the paranoia and fear of going back to your life, as you know, if you're not going to the jury house. You have the wondering what went on, especially with an eviction like mine. So many things are going through my head, mysteries of what happened.
Well, let's get right to it, man.
All
the
right.
first question is from Stacy, and it's right. We're getting right into the heart of it.
Okay.
All right. How did it feel to get played by Ian?
I loved it.
And this was from Stacy.
Yeah, sure. Stacy, you probably won't believe my reaction, but I actually loved it. I thought I was just going to get ganged up on by a bunch of inferior players, such as Joe and Shane and Danielle. And it was actually quite refreshing to know that the kid I would expect it from the least is the one who was actually playing the most. And so I got to respect that. I did it to people all the time, and I don't mind it.
He orchestrated a nice little move there. I got to tell you, he's the sweetest kid on the show. Yeah. Obviously, I mean, you could see that inside the house, but where he pulled these strings from, I have no idea.
I don't either. It was just completely blindsided. And as a fan of the game and somebody who watches the show when I'm not on it, I had to respect it, and I loved it.
So no hard feelings for the man.
No hard feelings whatsoever. I mean, look, if I go back and he did it in a mean way, maybe a little hard feelings, but as far as a game move, I respect it 100%.
What did he, I know it's going to come up later on, but what did he say to you on the exit? What exactly was exchanged there?
Yeah, on the exit, he told me that I was going to see some things that I didn't like. He referenced a line that I said to Howie on All Stars, which was "get to steppin'."
And he actually said that?
He actually said it kind of as a joke, but kind of with some conviction in his voice, which I think he was sort of hitting the home that, like, I got you, buddy. And so luckily, which brings me to this point that we may be getting into later, but I'll bring it up now, which he kind of messed up because he should have just voted to keep me, and then he wouldn't have exposed what he was doing.
Right.
And that exposed him to other people that were still in the game. But I think he really wanted to say, I got out the great Mike Boogie.
I think he did. I think he wanted his props. You know how it is in there? You get lonely, you want some kind of, I'm doing something in here, some kind of props, instead of people on the outside saying, you know what, you should just toned it down. Did your move. We all see it. But you didn't need to bring everyone's attention to it.
He got a little drunk with power, as they say.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit he did. And I didn't see that coming from an
and it allowed me to whisper to Frank in my hug to, watch out for Ian, something's going on here, kind of thing.
Okay, so you did warn him, and that was, again, another question. But let's get to some of these. All right, Elsa Mama 420 wants to know, do you have any hint that Ian had turned on you? I keep calling him Ian throughout the show, like Ian Ziering.
Yeah.
I always mess up when I get in trouble for it. You had any hint that Ian turned on you? What advice would you give Frank? What did you tell him when he was leaving? Yeah,
I had absolutely zero notion that Ian was even playing the game. I thought he was just a happy super fan that they put in there, young, naive, etc. Obviously, when I heard the vote come down 5-2, I knew he didn't vote for me. A little part of me thought it was just pressure from the other side to roll with them. But when I heard him say get to steppin', and he said you're going to see things you don't like, a light bulb went off in my head, and I told Frank to watch out for him because clearly he was up to something.
So you knew right when the votes came down that Ian was the one.
Yeah, I knew Ashley was super tight with me, and I knew that she was going to follow through on her plan to stick with me no matter what, even though it put her game at risk. And Ian shouldn't have exposed himself like that, and he showed too much, I think.
I got to tell you, this was like the best episode of the season.
Was it?
I mean, unfortunately for you, but I'm sure it falls on a heavy heart. But I know how it feels. But it was a great episode.
I'm sure it was. I'm looking forward to watching it tonight.
All right, here, let's get into that question. Do you believe that you were off this season, your game wise, or is it just that Ian was a better player than you?
I certainly wasn't off. I play an aggressive style of game. I play with no fear, no regrets. My relationship with Frank, immediately put us in peril because he was such a beast in the competitions. He was always such a big threat, always a big target. From my coach's role, I knew that I was always going to have to be working to defend him. And then when the twist happened, which I didn't want, I knew that I had the most amazing uphill battles. So it's not that Ian played better. He just got together with a group of people that needed to get me out. Obviously, the other players are threatened by my presence as a fellow player in the game, and they did a good job getting me out.
It's a true story. I mean, for Ian, it's easy to lay low and, pull some strings behind the curtain when there's no pressure.
Right, exactly.
It's hard to,
Thank you.
week after week, have to defend yourself and get people to think your way, and then eventually it's going to catch up with you.
Right.
So it's maybe, but
it's not like Ian outplayed me. I mean, I was in there doing work. I was in there and actually had to work. Ian sat back, joined the majority of some people, and fed some information, and that's not hard to do. It looks cute because he's 21 and he's the little guy, and he did it to the coach and the great Mike Boogie, but it ain't all that, So I give him 100% credit, but it's not like he played a better game.
I get where you're coming from. Gabe W wants to know: are you and Dan going to be chill outside of the game?
Dan and I, apparently I mistakenly accused him of telling Brittany that I was going to come after her. Apparently it was Ian who did so. But, Dan rode with Ian and those guys. I don't fault him. I was invited to his wedding and his bachelor party. This is someone I have a bit of a friendship and an acquaintanceship outside the house. And I hold no ill will towards him. He's a great player. I respect him in and out the house. We didn't speak for over a week, but right before my eviction, we hugged it out, and it's all good. I think he has an excellent chance of repeating.
I think he does too. I mean, the way the house is going, you never know. It's so crazy week to week, and you never know what's going to happen. Do you think anything's going to happen with this question mark box that they put in?
It's so funny. I tried an amazing Hail Mary 4 minutes before we had to sit down for the show. You probably don't even know about it because it obviously wasn't shown, but I always suspected that Danielle was a nurse. And so I brought her in the room pretending to say goodbye, and I pointed at the box with the question mark in it, and I said, some things are going to be shaken up tonight. I'm a very special player in this game. That box is there for a reason, and you better vote my way, Nurse Murphy. And her eyes lit up, and I thought, I don't know if she's a nurse. If she isn't, it doesn't
swing
matter.
For the fences.
Yeah, but swing for the fences. So I was that Wrigley dog, just, and so I tried this one last ditch effort. But I had already told Ian I was doing it, so she knew what was coming, and so
man, that would have been great.
Yeah, I just assumed I had Ian's vote at that point, and I thought maybe she'd be the fourth vote. So, point being, I played up until the very last second of this game. So that's it.
That would have been amazing if you pulled it.
Oh, that would have been great.
It would have been amazing. There's actually a segment in the show where they show you sniffing it out and you put the pieces together. Yeah,
okay.
And I thought it was great. You know what I mean? Because I was like, wow, you put all that together. The wheels are always turning in there.
Yeah,
you crack a lot of jokes, but you got to give credit where credit's due.
Thank you.
The wheels are always turning.
Thank
You're
you.
a great player.
Thank you.
Very, very entertaining throughout the season. People are going to say what they will. They like you, they don't. Haters or not.
Right.
Played a great game.
Thank you. Coming from you, I really appreciate that.
Well, what are you going to do? I'm not the best, so don't take it. Take it with a grain of salt. Anyways, I kind of skipped one question. Before I said the thing with chill with Dan, it's actually, now that you know the truth about Ian was the one, are you and Dan cool? And you kind of hit on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So after the game, you guys.
I feel a little bad accusing him, but he also.
Apologies in order?
I said sorry for the general feeling that we weren't able to work together and that, it got so ugly in there. But at the end of the day, he never said that he didn't say it.
Right.
He just kept saying assumptions are made, and he spoke in generalities and vagaries like he does to protect his little Catholic schoolboy image and all that, and he doesn't like to have to lie. He knew if he defended himself, he'd have to out Ian.
Right.
So from a game perspective, totally respect it. I bring no negativity when I close that door behind me.
Exactly. I mean, and you are. How many days were you in there? 40
I was
plus?
in there 48 days.
I mean, it plays tricks on your mind. So
It
you
does.
can't take what people are saying or going through in there as being like sitting on your couch and be like, why did he do that? Or say this? Because it takes a toll on you physically, mentally. It's draining.
Much like watching a football game, this game is the ultimate armchair quarterback because someone could be backstabbing you 10 feet away, but as you know, if you can't hear it and you can't see it, just because you're in the picture doesn't mean you should know what's going on. And I look back on it, I'm replaying in my head a lot of the fights and things where I was accusing other people. Ian was sitting there the whole time, so I'm going to look stupid, kind of, but that's part of the game.
What are you going to do? He was rolling with you for the majority of the whole season. You know what I mean? I think it was just an opportunity. He had it and took it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nicole wants to know, how would you have played the remainder of the season if you were still in the house?
Well, obviously, I couldn't play an under-the-radar strategy. It was going to have to be the art of war. It was going to be Sun Tzu Boogie up in there. I was trying to assemble 2 or 3 other bodies to go in against the Alliance of 4. There's no way a power chaser like a Jen or like a Joe are going to crack into the upper echelons of that power of 4 alliance of Shane, Brittany, Dan, and Danielle. And I don't know why they would try to. They're obviously all very close. So I would have literally, if I stayed, I would have drawn a line in the sand. And if people had come with me, 5 of us could have played 3 of them in the HOH, and Shane wouldn't have been playing, which, obviously, as you know, would be a strong thing. It didn't go down like that, and I'm sitting here.
I know. I totally get your logic, because I play a similar game. It's like, let's get to the final 6 guys before we start making moves on each other, and then let's start making moves. And I kind of got the same thing turned on me.
Exactly.
So I know
similar.
You want to get to that point, and then start going to war.
Right.
But when things are pulled behind your back, you're honest, but then you look like the fool.
Yeah, that was the funny thing this season is, of the 3, it was the most honest one I played. But honesty is not the best policy in there. So
definitely not for me. I know that.
Yes.
Brady wants to know, Brady? That's your name, Brady? Does that look right?
Brady, yeah.
Brady wants to know, Boogie, you rock, dude.
Thank you, Brady.
Capital letters, Brady. Would you change any of the game moves you made? Are you happy with what you accomplished?
Again, play with no fear, no regrets. That's my motto. Obviously, you could point to different scenarios in the game where if, say, Frank had tried to backdoor Dan, or we had voted out Danielle instead of JoJo, but hindsight's 2020. Clearly, I never could have anticipated things happening. Heck, I didn't even know there was going to be a twist with players coming back, or coaches becoming players. So I don't even wish that we did things. But looking back on it, obviously, there were moves that could have been made that might have changed my destiny.
Coming in, you never crossed your mind that you're like, there might be a chance I'm coming into this game when you first came in as a coach?
Yes, it did cross my mind. Obviously, every year on Big Brother, they start with sort of one sort of twist, and then it changes to like another twist. And so I thought to myself, this is possible. But look, whether I came in on a pedestal as a coach or I just came in as a player from day one, either way, not trying to sound cocky or whatever, but I'm a big name in the game, and especially against rookies, they're going to come after me. You don't want me anywhere near that money in the end, because I'm going to snatch it.
And you did. You were snatching money all game.
Yeah, I was snatching money all game. If I got near money, I snatched it. So, it's just a tough thing when you're back there for a 3rd time and you've already won it. They're gonna come after you. So they did the right thing.
This is a crazy question that just popped in my head. Do you think things would have been differently? I know you can't say would have, could have, should have, if you didn't go for that money last HOH and went for the HOH.
I don't at all. I don't think I could have beaten Shane. I don't know how it was edited on television, but that competition, which you played it, I think, last year.
Yeah.
And this one was uphill, and Shane obviously is a sick athlete. I'm athletic, but I don't think I could have beaten him. And I thought to myself, I'm snatching every prize possible along the way.
I thought the same thing last year.
Right? Yeah, like I'm taking everything, because do I want to give up on prizes and then lose? Look, if it was someone I was battling with, I would have tried for the HOH. But at the time, I did trust him. I thought Shane was more of an upstanding guy, but with Dan using him as a puppet, he can corrupt the best of them. So,
right. Well, at least you got $10,000 out of it.
Yeah.
Well, even plus some.
In the 6, yeah.
Look,
I got 3rd place money, and I get to go home. I don't have to be on the jury.
And
this
you
isn't
get to
so
see
bad.
your kid.
I get to see my kid.
This is your first time playing with
a son.
With the child.
Yes. It's a little different.
It is, huh?
Yeah, I think mostly just because the way you act when things aren't going your way. I was a little calmer this time. I wasn't calling people out as much. I was still mean at times, but
a little bit.
Just a little bit. But in the end, it's much easier to accept when you have that to go home to.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. Peggy wants to know, a question for Boogie. Obviously, Peggy, who would it be for? If you could go back and play again with either Frank or Dr. Will, but not both, which partner would you choose?
That, I think, is an excellent question. I'll tell you, they're both scholars of the game. Obviously, we all know Will and his reputation, but I tell you, Frank knows this game better than anyone that's still in there, as good as Dan. And the only problem is, between Frank's build and his big personality, he draws more attention to him. And with him and I together, it just drew a lot of attention. Will has a way of kind of making us not so out at the forefront. And Will also knew how to keep me calm. Frank kept me calm at times, but he also was more the rah-rah, let's go to war type,
Absolutely.
which I think you could have got down with us.
Yeah.
We said several times, and they were like, man, I wish we had Jeff Schroeder here. But yeah, I would probably choose Will by a narrow margin.
I thought it'd be a no-brainer, even though Frank's a great guy. I'm not, throwing anything at Frank. I just thought
definitely
you and Will were.
Definitely Will, but I tell you, Frank filled in as best as possible.
Is he an honorary member of the Chilltown?
He's an honorary member. We do hand out some honorary memberships, and hopefully he's still in there fighting away.
All right. Well, Wendy T wants to know, Boogie, will you go back in the BB house again if given the chance?
6 years ago, people asked me this question, and I said...
And she wants to know, could she be your evil sidekick?
Evil sidekick. Okay, well, if Ian's not there, I got to bring that kid back with me, apparently. Wendy, you never know. I never would have thought I'd been there a third time, but the game is very intoxicating. I love the game. I love the challenge. And I think the answer would be yes, but, you never know.
It's such an emotional roller coaster.
Back?
I mean, I'm still feeling some pain from last season.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday's episode brought back a lot of memories, and I was like, whew, man, I don't know if I could go through that again.
It's painful. It is a hard one. And look, the whole time I'm in there, I'm complaining a lot because it's so boring and the food and the everything. But when you get out, you do kind of miss it.
Intoxicating was a great word that you just used for that because it is. It's like a sick girlfriend you keep going back to.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Crystal wants to know, well, again, Boogie, would you play Big Brother again? We just nailed that, Crystal.
We did.
And we're out of these questions for now, but we have some more on the way.
Oh, okay, cool. People are tweeting in?
Yeah. So how about some of the T-shirts that you wore on the show, Boogie?
Yeah.
Let's get to those, because personally, my favorite is Big Brother Belichick.
Okay, I'm glad you like that one.
Oh, man, that was great.
For those of you who don't know, Bill Belichick is a very esteemed coach in the NFL. He coaches my favorite team, the New England Patriots. A good friend of mine thought up the shirt beforehand, and I put it in there. I try to wear shirts that sort of encompassed things that go on the show. You can't wear the pro stuff in there. So the next best thing for me was, showmance anyone, where's Will, some New Hampshire stuff. You got to hold down your past.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I rep Chicago on there when I could.
Did. Yes, you did.
Did you leave any of that stuff back in there?
I did. If you continue to watch the show, assuming Frank can survive a little longer, I left him tons of my clothes, including my Brady shirt. There's a Chilltown
Well, he
tank
was
top.
wearing a red Chilltown tank top.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He wore it for the HOH, right? Yeah. So, I left some stuff behind, and some of it may pop up on eBay by Monday.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. All right, Shorty T18 wants to know, hi, Boogie, I'm a big fan. Shout out to Shorty T.
Shorty T.
I just want to know if Frank got his... Oh, did he get his cool kid card?
Frank was a cool kid long before he met Mike Boogie, but I think I understand your point. And, I have much admiration and respect. He literally stood shoulder to shoulder with me in these battles, and he was like, let's bring it on. I don't care if it's 2 of us on 10 people. And I love that. I love that mentality. At one point, he said we were going to put Ian on his shoulder like a bazooka and walk around. I was going to put the mortar shells in there. Little did we know, Ian was the one firing the bazooka at us. But love Frank. Great guy. Have nothing but good things to say about him, and he may just pull this off.
Is the cool kid card the Chilltown?
I guess that's what they're referring to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get things here that they just dig way deep in there.
Yeah.
All right, Dana wants to know, does Mike regret treating Janelle the way he did in the past after being tricked into a similar manner?
Not at all. Janelle played a dirty game. She played a game where she would just tell people that I said things that I did not, which is something I never did. He played a little mean this year. It was very different than I think she had played in the past. And I will, kind of end that answer to the question by saying I loved it when Brittany made fun of me on my exit. She did the phone call with Janelle, and as much as I'll stick it to you, if you stick it back, I'll laugh and say, good on you. You know, way to go. I deserved it. I got it. I did it with, I took it with a smile. But getting Janelle out was probably the biggest moment in the season for me, getting all those people together and getting her out. She couldn't be trusted. She rolled with Joe, who I can't stand, and she got what she deserved.
So, no friendship outside the house?
Oh,
I mean, you and Janelle go way back.
Yeah,
there's more than just this season.
Yeah, me and Janelle go way back. I assume they must have kind of done a segment or something on our wars. I mean, we've just been battling for so long. And, I'm open to being friends after. I said some pretty mean things myself. She said mean things. But at the end of the day, we're both a couple parents now. And I think we've done the show enough and spent enough time together in the Big Brother house where you can set stuff aside. It's like I told them in the house 2 days ago, and what I'm saying now, which is when that door closes behind me, I leave the negativity inside.
Right.
I'm not going to be friends with everybody, but I'm certainly not looking for any wars or enemies with people. I let it go, and that's it.
Right. You brought up a good point about the children now. You know what I mean? You got to set a good example.
Absolutely.
And in both your defenses, Dan and Brittany are great players, but I mean, you guys are the upper echelon of Big Brother.
Thank you.
If it goes to legends, you guys are in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
So you two butting heads in there, I could see how. You guys kind of have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Who is the ultimate best player right now?
It's also an odd rivalry because the girl is a beast, and the way the competitions are, as you know, they're athletic, but they're athletic with limitations. So she can actually beat guys, and she was always beating Dan. So when we would go do those coaches competitions stuff, I was like, let me get this chick. She's a badass, and it was fun having a rivalry with her in a situation where normally it would be two guys. But it was a guy and a girl.
Great competitor, both you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Cassidy wants to know, Boogie, do you honestly, this is going, what?
Who do you honestly think is going to win this game?
Thanks, Boogie.
Yeah, this guy's hosting the show.
I do it every week, man. I can't read.
Yeah, it's obviously so tricky. You can, this is a very popular question when you come off the show. I'll tell you a couple people that are in great positions, and that's Danielle and Brittany. That's not me saying I like either of them. That's not saying who I want to win. That's just saying, given the current state of affairs and who's mad at each other and who are the targets, they're the type of girls that could sit back and be in an alliance and have bigger targets in their alliance, which I think is sort of what happened with you and where they kind of go after you because you're the leader. That's what'll happen to Shane and Dan, I think.
All right, well, that's a great. Kaylin wants to know what player in the house you think has the best game in your opinion right now.
I think overall I'd give it to Dan because Dan assembled a group of sycophants, minions, people who don't really know what they're doing, and he's sort of doing the Will Kirby kind of puppet master thing, and he's getting them to do the dirty work. He hasn't won any competitions. He relies on Brittany and Danielle to do the social game, especially with the girls, and he relies on Shane to be the brute force to win the competitions and keep him safe, and he's put himself in a really, really nice position. But I will say this, Frank has an equal amount of smarts, and if anyone could pull a rabbit out of a hat and actually make it to the end, I think it will be Frank.
Do you think Frank has to win out, which is
pretty impossible?
Near impossible.
Yeah.
Or do you think he's got a chance of making some alliances?
I think, I don't know what happened after he left. I know that, Ashley was evicted, and
right.
I don't know who won the head of household after that. But if Frank was fortunate enough to win the head of household, he has a whole week now to use the power. So in some ways, it's better he didn't win it right after I left.
Right.
Because then he wouldn't be able to play next week.
Exactly.
Yeah, this way, he has a week to work people. And if he puts up, say, a Dan and a Shane, he'll make Brittany and Danielle make hard choices that will turn whoever stays maybe against them. And if anyone knows how to fracture the group and make the most of an HOH, it would be Frank. But he's got to win it first.
Exactly. So who do you think is the most Holly wants to know, who do you think the most irritating person in the house is?
Oh, there's so many. Where do you start? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna give it an absolute tie between Joe and Brittany. Joe, loudmouth, kind of redneck thing going on, just a big idiot. Brittany, super complainer, always unhappy. And the thing that irritated me the most about her was how messy she was. She literally just eats a meal and just leaves the plate and the glass wherever she wants, or just wherever she took her last bite, she just leaves it there.
Wow.
Yeah,
I got that in a past interview. That's weird.
Yeah, and she makes this monstrous cup of coffee like 3 or 4 times a day, and she drinks half of it and then just leaves the cup. Flies, roaches, ants, whatever. And then you got Joe not washing his hands when he cooks food. They're just a disgusting group of individuals.
The Big Brother house will get to you, man. I know. I did the same thing, like when people would leave stuff around, just little irritating, quirky habits that people. I'm sure I irritated the hell out of everybody in there, but you know what I mean. When you're that tight group for so long,
and especially when you're against the people, and then they do the irritating things, you're like, I just wanted to like smash stuff and dump coffee on her head, but I didn't do that.
All right. Well, Talon wants to know what's life like in the BB house. We kind of just hit on that. And you get sick? Do you get sick of people in there with you? Kind of just hit on that.
Yeah.
And are there lots of disagreements and fights?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall this season, I think there wasn't too many fights. Obviously, the big thing with Willie in the beginning where, he was making homophobic remarks to Will and bullying people, and, Frank and I, and Joe actually a little bit too, stood up for him. That was kind of a big fight. I assume it played a little bit on TV because America voted to give us salmon and cereal. When he said he was going to eat his cereal and I said I was going to eat my salmon. I don't know.
That was a weird weird coincidence.
Yeah, that was a little weird coincidence. So, the Willie fight was obviously huge, but after he left, it calmed stuff down a lot. And, the alcohol was very, very limited this season, and I think that helped so that there wasn't too many fights. Like, for some reason, they just would give us alcohol only once or twice a week, and it was like 1 beer a piece. So you couldn't get
ours
much
was
going.
Limited too. Yeah,
I don't like that. It was much better 6 years ago. We had a lot more alcohol, but
times have changed.
It gets hard. 2 days ago, I kind of called a house meeting on a lockdown in the HOH room. Everybody was, Ian was crying, Ashley was crying, and I was like, look, people, it's not that deep. Like, if y'all want to vote me out, that's fine, but we don't need to make it into a big episode. Let's just get along as best as possible.
All right, I want to do one more thing. I know this is kind of got to be planned, but can we get a phone call going?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I don't even know what to do.
I don't know. Well,
it's kind of got to be planned.
Yeah.
But just pick up the phone.
I'll kind of wing it. Bring.
Hello?
Hey, Jeff, it's Mike Boogie.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Hey, I'm pretty good. I was thinking about staying in the Big Brother house, but I decided maybe to just come hang out with you on your show.
That sounds good, man. Come on over. Why? What happened?
Well, Ian kind of screwed me over, and I got evicted.
That was a good answer. All right, guys, stay tuned. We still have another guest. As you guys know, it's a double eviction night. Mike Boogie, thank you so much,
very
man.
much. Pleasure.
Best of luck to you on the outside.
Thank you.
Sit right there, go grab a snack, do what you have to do, and we'll be right back.
Enjoy the show.
Thanks, Mike.
Yes, thank you.